seller for OVO.
Well, we just launched a rechargeable line, and with that, we have a beautiful toy. It's got 3 motors. It's our E6, and it does many different things. So
Is there one here?
There is one here,
Oh
so I
my
can
God,
show it to you
can we go
later.
look? Oh my God, I want to go look at it. Well, Samantha Brown, thank you from OVO so much for
Thank
swinging
you.
by. Yeah, and everybody, you can check out the OVO line carried by Fantasy Gifts in all of the stores or online at fantasygifts.com.
Great, thank you.
Okay, the next company is a closet collection, and what I really like about this company is that they got everything right. Right off the bat, great toy, great, materials, great power, beautiful packaging, good pricing for what it is. And so we've carried it for a few years. We keep bringing in a few more items from them, when it works out. And it was Stephanie, right, that came on in?
Yes, Stephanie is awesome. She actually came out and did some trainings when she worked with another company. So I've actually known her for a while, and she does a really great job with these toys. Um, they're in boxes that sort of look like designer shoe boxes, and all of the toys have names like the Chloe, the Emily, the Carrie B, Slim G, and they're a really great line for us. And this is a company that just, again, came out within the last 2 years, I'd say, and it's doing really well for us.
Yeah, I just love it. So let's hear from Stephanie.
Here at the Fantasy Gifts Employee Extravaganza today, I've got Stephanie. Stephanie, what company are you with?
I'm with Impulse Novelties, and we actually do the Closet Collection line as well as our new masculine line, the Black Door by Closet Collection.
Okay, now what is the Closet Collection line for people who don't know?
So, Closet Collection is a relatively new line. We've been around for about 3 years and have been with Fantasy Gifts, I would say, for like 2. And it's a boutique line. There's a lot of color, a lot of patterns and textures. We really wanted to have a line that reflected the way women purchase a lot of other things, where it shows their personality, where they want to have options and things that are stylish and fun.
Okay, so this is being the face of the podcast. There's really nothing that's off the table, so you can be a little bit more specific.
So with our toys, we have predominantly silicone, mostly battery-operated toys,
Okay.
and they come in shapes and sizes that range from a butterfly that is on a flexible handle for somebody who wants that strong clitoral stimulation, but maybe wants a little bit of a longer reach.
Okay.
Also, then we have toys like we have a new wand that just came out that has pinpoint stimulation for the clitoris versus the other kinds of wands that just have that broad, like sort of bulbous head. Do you know what I'm talking
Yes,
about?
I do.
Okay, so we wanted to have some things that were different to that effect. And we really just focused on having toys that would work for a lot of different people.
Okay.
And then all of them come with a 1-year warranty, a satin bag, a beautiful box. We're known for our boxes. I know you can't see it, but tons of color, lots of fun. And those boxes are all meant to be carrying cases for later on.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Again, it's astounding to me. All you have to do is walk into Fantasy Gifts and see just how much packaging and materials and everything has changed in the last few years.
Absolutely, and that really reflects that more and more women and couples are going into the stores and people are buying toys. And so, with that increase of people trying out toys, we want to reflect what they're looking for in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So, have you been in the industry longer than Closet Collection?
I have. I actually started my own company called Metro Cherry, and I've done consulting, I've done seminars and parties for about 10 years. So I started investigating right as the luxury toys were infiltrating the market, so I've been able to see that transition. It's been amazing.
It's all gotten so much more mainstream, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so when you guys do your research, like you're sitting around saying, let's make something shaped like a butterfly. I mean, how do you get to that point?
Well, this is actually a perfect thing for our line in particular, since we're creating new stuff and we're a new line. Um, the way we describe it is reinterpreting or reimagining the classics. So we look at things like clitoral stimulators and G-spot toys and wands and things that continue to do well, rabbits, those types of shapes with the internal and external. And then we think of how can we do something a little bit different, like adding a handle here, a different contour there. The butterflies just do well because it's a fun, flirty toy that a lot of people just like with butterflies, so it's become part of our roster. But then we do also have other shapes as well.
Okay.
And so we'll look at something and then start to build off of that.
What would you say is the closet collection's absolute number one standout?
Probably the Carrie Bee. It's one of the toys we've had around for the longest, so it's starting to become just like our signature toy.
Okay.
But it is just a very satiny smooth, slim G-spot toy, and it sells for I want to say probably around $40.
Okay.
And people then get that satin bag, the carrying case, the 1-year warranty. So there's tremendous value added to a very simple toy. I know Fantasy Gifts sells them like crazy. It's very popular. People love them.
And that what's that called again?
It's called the Carrie Bee Slim G.
The Carrie Bee. Okay.
Named after Carrie Bradshaw.
Oh, seriously?
Yes. The whole thing is all about style and fashion and sexual like empowerment. So
I was thinking Carry, like as in carry along type of thing. That's how yes. So I was like, what? Oh no, that's really okay. So Sex and the City, man, they had a huge impact on things, I think.
Yes, I mean it was revolutionary. I don't know if people remember how much it really changed everything.
I just, it's funny. I didn't watch the show when it was airing originally. I think I started watching the seasons like as it was in the last year, And what I thought was the most amazing at that time, and it's been a long time ago now, really, is that they just went there with everything.
Oh, absolutely. And women just weren't talking about sex in the same way as when. And I started watching that show like in high school, so that's probably like during my formative years was very inspiring. It was like, oh my gosh, this is a revolution. So
yeah, and I think one of the things that I liked Stephanie about it so much was that you saw these 4 women that you could argue were enviable in their different ways. They seem to have great careers and all this great stuff going on, getting slammed around by life and men like just like everybody else.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like you were like perfect, but
yeah,
absolutely.
So if you could make a recommendation of anything new that you guys have come out with recently for someone to try that's a little bit more out of the ordinary, what would you suggest today?
I would say we have it both in the closet collection as well as the Black Door line. We have a toy called the Chloe.
Okay.
And it's just about 3 inches.
Okay.
But it's a broad spectrum clitoral vibrator or just a vibrator with a handle. So because of the handle, you can use it for partner play. And couples shopping together is becoming more and more popular, seeing people actually in the stores with their partner buying.
Okay.
So it's nice because you can find the setting your partner prefers most and stick to it, or that you prefer. And then because of the handle, you can like reach around or up and under, or all the like delicious little crevices where you may want to get some vibration going. It fits perfectly. So even though it's simple, the concept of it is pretty unique to anything else that's out there in the market.
Okay, and that's called the Chloe.
The Chloe, or it is the number 7 in the Black Door line.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much, and we really hope that you'll join us again on the Great Northern Sexcast.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next up is Sport Sheets, and this is a company that I actually do know a lot about because it's something that I saw. My brother and I were actually in Chicago at a housewares convention because there never used to be just individual adult product conventions. They would go in little areas and other places, and we saw this little spot over the side. It was a brother-sister team, and we were a brother-sister team, and they just had great stuff. And that was in 1993 or something like that, so it's over 20 years now that we have carried their stuff right from the beginning. And their salesperson was new this time. Was this the new one? But she was incredibly enthusiastic, from what I understand. It sounds like I missed a really good presentation. But they carry everything. It's all bondage. They've got cups, they've got restraints, they've got hog ties. They package it in a lot of different ways for heterosexual couples, for male couples. They started a long time ago, and they've really grown. I mean, it's a wonderful company and good prices, and the quality is good too. That's what I really like about it.
It is good, and it is sort of more for beginners, couples who want to get into bondage a little bit and try it. The Sport Sheets name came from their first item that they ever made that they started out with, and it was a Velcro bondage bed sheet where the cuffs would attach to the bed sheet with Velcro, so you could put them around
Yeah, and
in different places.
Yeah, and the thing is it was safe because you could reach the edge of it and pull it up. And so
Right,
people were
you
really
weren't
comfortable
stuck
with this.
there, and you could move them around, and that was like a really innovative new product in 1993, and they built over the years, and they have now like more than 400 items, and they did a line called Sex and Mischief, and it happened to come out right before the big 50 Shades of Grey craze, so they have been growing like crazy over the last few years, and we carry a lot of their products, and they do really well for us. This was the first time I've ever met Sylvia, but she did a really great presentation, and they'll like bring an employee up in front of everyone and put some cuffs on them and kind of show you how this works. There was a girl in their spreader bar and cuffs that she put on her legs, so it was actually a really great presentation.
Sometimes I'm glad I was on a road trip and I couldn't make this one. It was beforehand, but I just, my mom's in the room. And I just, sometimes it just makes me giggle when I have to look over. My mom's just looking at stuff, and I'm like, it's my mom.
She loves
but
it.
but I love it because
everyone
it's a
loves her.
family business, and this is
Mhm.
another family business, and I really, they are a wonderful company. So, let's hear from Sylvia.
So next up here at the Fantasy Gift Employee Extravaganza, I keep calling it, I have Sylvia Lopez. Hey, Sylvia.
Hi, how are you, Kelly?
I'm well. So tell us what company you're representing today.
I am representing Sport Sheets International.
Sport Sheets. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I had never heard of you before I started doing the Great Northern Sex Cast here with Colleen Bertino, and she absolutely rants and raves about your line. So, would you, for others like me, give us an overview of what Sport Sheets is and has?
Well, Sport Sheets is a company who is always coming up and coming up with new products. The products that we develop and we make are for always keeping couples connected. So that's really what we think about, and we always try to keep in mind when developing a product, keeping couples connected. We always want to keep couples connected when using our products or buying our products. We want the consumer to have that in mind when they're picking up an item. We want them to think, okay, how am I going to bring this home and make my relationship better with my partner?
Boy, it's a different philosophy out there in this marketplace today than how the industry got started, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is. A lot of people are more open-minded now, so they're more open to finding out what's out there. They're not really close-minded, so that's very exciting to see.
Yeah, and the okay, so Colleen has mentioned, and I can't remember specifically which items, but that you have some unique products to the entire market that are just with the materials and the usability and everything. And by the way, it is a podcast, so you can say anything. You don't have to censor yourself at all. It's okay. So go ahead and describe away.
Yes, one of the products that I would like to mention is the Under the Bed, which is our number one top seller. It is a bondage restraint item that goes between the mattresses, and it's been, ever since it came out to the market, it's been selling, and it's the number one. And even till this day, it is the number one seller.
Okay, under the bed.
Right.
Okay. Did you guys get what kind of lift? I'm wondering if any. Did you guys get from the whole 50 Shades of Grey movement?
Oh my gosh, we did so awesome and phenomenal with the whole 50 Shades of Grey wave or phenomenon. We actually, before the 50 Shades of Grey books came out, we developed a new line called Sex and Mischief.
Okay.
And that line came a year before it, so we started promoting that line, and it was black and white packaging, and it was very voguish looking, um, very welcoming to women, very sexy photography. So when the whole 50 Shades of Grey books hit and started selling like crazy, then a lot of people started buying our products and picking up a lot of Sex and Mischief just because it kind of correlated with the whole 50 Shades of Grey cover, and we also had a lot of light products that were mentioned on the book.
Okay.
So, for example, the nipple feather clamps, the anal beads, the cuffs, the paddles, the crops. So we did really well with all that.
Okay. So now, does Sport Sheets